Hi everyone, Chris here, and today we're going to look at true, false, not given. Now, this is the question that I get the most questions about, and this is the question that people worry about the most. So the main aim of this lesson is to show you just how straightforward these actually are. My job is always to show you um, just how simple these things are, and that will be my goal for this lesson. It's very similar to stuff that we've done in the past, but I'm going to show you a lot more examples and go through 8 real questions at the end to give you a live demo of it. So it should make a lot more sense by the end of this lesson. But if you have any further questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Okay, so true, false, not given questions require you to identify information in the text and then say if that information is true, or not given. So it's requiring you to do 2 things. The primary 2 things that you need to do in order to answer these questions is A, identify information, and B, say if that information is true, false, or not given. If you think about it that way, break it down and simplify it in that way, everything becomes much, much, much easier. You will be given a number of factual statements and you have to check in the text if they are true or not. Again, not overcomplicating it. You're given a few sentences and you have to check if those sentences are true or not, or you just can't tell if they are true or not. So what do they mean? If the text agrees with or confirms the information in the statement, the answer is true, okay? If the text contradicts, so it is just factually wrong, or is the opposite to the information in the statement, the answer is false. Now, some books and some videos you'll see on YouTube say that it's only false if it is the opposite of the statement. That's not true. It can contradict it as well. It can be factually incorrect. And we'll look at examples of these in a second. If there is no information or it is impossible to know, the answer is not given. Again, you'll see in some books and you'll see in some videos about this that they say that there's no information on it and that means not given. There could be information on it, but it might just be impossible for you to tell. And we'll look at some real examples of this, and we're really going to look at the difference between these 3. There's a whole slide on that coming up. So that's just a real introduction to what these 3 mean. So let's look at some common problems and talk about them. Not understanding what not given means. So this is a problem because many students have looked at true or false questions in the past, but they don't know what not given means. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about this, and we're going to clarify this in this lesson. Spending too much time making sure that it is not given. Remember, you are on the clock. You only have a certain amount of time to complete these. So not only will it cause you to get your true, false, not given questions wrong if you waste time, it will cause you to get the subsequent questions wrong because you don't have time to do them. So time is an issue here, and I'm not going to give you any time management tips or anything like that. I don't think those work. What I'm going to do is show you how to find the answers quickly and then to be able to move on. Failure to understand exactly what each statement means and therefore being unable to identify if it is true or false. Many of you worry about what true means, what false means, what not given means, and you don't really focus on the most important thing, which is actually understanding the actual statements, taking the time to do that. We'll look at that in a second also. Focusing on keywords instead of understanding what the statement as a whole means. Many of you have been taught that all you have to do is skim and scan and look for keywords. That's not what you should do. If you're just looking for keywords, you're going to get these wrong, or you might not be able to find them. Keywords are important, but they're not the only thing that you need to be thinking about. So let's look at some general advice before we get into some of the example questions. Ignore anything you already know about the topic and don't make assumptions. Base your answers on the text only. This is a problem for not given. All right. So many of you will have preconceived ideas about the topic, or you might know a little bit about the topic, and you use that information to determine if something is true or false. If there is no information for you to base your answer on, it's not given. So if you're using information you already have about that topic, then you're in trouble. And we'll look at a real example of this. This lesson is at the start, it's general advice. The bulk of the lesson will be looking at real questions. So if you're not understanding everything immediately, don't worry. We'll look at that in a second. Identify any words that qualify the statement. For example, some, all, mainly, often, always, and occasionally. These words are there to test if you've read the whole statement, because they can change the meaning. So if I said, some Irish people have ginger hair, red hair, that's very different from saying all Irish people have ginger hair, red hair. One means 100%, one means not 100%. So just one tiny word like some can completely change the meaning of a sentence. So you need to be careful with these qualifying words. There will be at least one of all three answers. If you don't have at least one true, one false, and one not given, you have at least one answer wrong. So there should be at least one true, at least one false, and at least one not given. Often you'll get students who will have lots of trues and lots of falses, but they don't have the confidence to choose not given. And that's what we'll talk about in this lesson also. Having the confidence to put NG or not given on the paper is a big thing. Don't scan the text to find the final answer. You will have to read the appropriate part of the text very carefully in order to understand what the author means. So scanning is used to locate the answer. Scanning is not used to decide the final answer. Scanning is just allowing you to find out where the answer is, not what the answer is. Don't always look for words that match those in the statements exactly. You should also look for synonyms. Remember that you are matching meaning, not words. So many of you will see a word in a sentence and you'll try and look for the exact words to locate the answer. You will be given synonyms. You have to be aware of that. So some more advice on this. If you can't find the information you're looking for, then it is probably not given. Don't waste time looking for something that is not there. Often there will be some information, but it's just impossible for you to know the correct answer. But sometimes you just won't be able to find the answer at all. If that's the case, put not given down and move on. For most of you, you do not need a band 9. You do not need perfection. All right, it is better to put NG down. You're probably correct and move on. Do not get all the rest of the questions wrong because you spend 10 minutes looking for something that's not there. If you've no idea what the answer is, put not given. You probably have no idea because the answer is not there or the information provided doesn't really give you enough to go on to decide what the answer is. If you're unsure, put not given, move on. Answers are in the same order they appear in the text. Do not waste time going back, keep on reading. And we'll look at how you can use this strategically in a real question. Yes, no, not given questions are slightly different because they deal with opinion. True, false, not given questions deal with facts. So pretty much the same, but slightly different. Same, but different, as they say in Thailand. So let's now look at the difference in more detail. Let's look at an example of the difference between true, false, and not given. IELTS Advantage was founded on the last day of March 2014 in Ho Chi Minh City. It was started originally as a class blog by a teacher working for the British Council. It quickly grew in popularity as the founder produced more and more content for IELTS students. It wasn't long before he was able to quit his job and focus on the website full time. Alright, so pause the video and read that again. Pause the video and read that again. Now, what I want you to do is look at these and tell me, or write down, or think about, make a decision. Are these true? Are these false? Or are they not given? So pause the video, think about these. Do it now. Don't cheat. Don't wait for me to give you the answer. It will really sink into your brain if you pause the video and find these answers yourself. Okay, so IELTS Advantage was founded on the 31st of March 2014. So let's scan, okay, March 2014. Okay, but 31st. So if you were just looking for 31st, you wouldn't be able to find it. All right, last day of is a synonym. Last day of is a synonym of the 31st of March. So is this correct? IELTS Advantage was founded on the last day of March 2014. There are 31 days in March, so this is true. It is factually correct. Okay. IELTS Advantage was founded in the UK. Okay, does it say anything about the UK? No, but it says about Ho Chi Minh City. Ho Chi Minh City is in Vietnam. You don't have to be a geography expert to know that. Was founded in the UK. Was founded in the UK? No, it was founded in Ho Chi Minh City. So there is information on this. It's not the opposite. So Ho Chi Minh City is not the opposite of the UK. All right, but it is factually incorrect. It contradicts what it says in the statement. The statement contradicts what it says in the text here. So it was founded in the UK. That contradicts what it says here, Ho Chi Minh City. So this is false. So it was founded by Chris Pell. It was started originally as a class blog by a teacher working for the British Council. It quickly grew in popularity as the founder produced more and more content for IELTS students. It wasn't long before he was able to quit his job and focus on the website full time. So do you think this is true, false, or not given? So it was started originally as a class blog by a teacher working for the British Council. IELTS Advantage was founded by Chris Pell. So if you think this is true, you are wrong. Why would you think this is true? Because you are using the information you already have about this topic rather than looking at the information in the text. The text says nothing about Chris Pell. Okay, text says nothing about Chris Pell, so it's not true. Is it false? Does it say that it was founded by some other teacher or some other name? So there's nothing that contradicts this. There's nothing that is the opposite of this. Founded by a teacher, Chris Pell could be a teacher. We don't know because we're just basing it on this text. So it's not false. It's not given. Okay? It's not given because it's giving us some information about who founded it. Was started originally. Founded, started originally, the same thing, synonyms. It's giving us some information, but it's not giving us enough information to really make a decision. So we can't tell if it is true or false, so it is not given. Okay? So hopefully that helps you understand the difference between true, false, and not given. True, factually correct, agrees with the statement. False, it's incorrect, it contradicts it, or it's the opposite of it. Not given, it's just not there, or there's not enough information for you really to make a decision. So we're going to look at two strategies. We're going to look at a detailed strategy for true, false, not given, and we're going to look at a very short, simple strategy for true, false, not given. You should use both, and it'll make sense what I mean by both. So always read the instructions carefully and make sure you know if it is a true, false, not given, or a yes, no, not given. Read all the statements carefully. So we're reading the statements first. We're not reading the text first. Trying to understand what the whole sentence means rather than simply highlighting keywords. Watch out for qualifying words such as some or always. So job number one is to understand what the statements mean. If you do not understand what the statements mean, you will not be able to answer the question. Try to think of the synonyms that might be in the text. This will help you identify the matching part of the text. So your next job is to think of synonyms. Okay, so you're not looking at the text yet, you're just thinking of synonyms. Match the statement with the correct part of the text. So now you're looking at the text and you're not reading the whole text, you're just scanning it. So you're looking at the words in the statements or the synonyms and you're having a look and you're locating the area that you need to look at. Focus on the statement again and then carefully read the matching part of the text to establish if it is true or false. Remember, the meaning should match that of the statement exactly if it is true. So you've located the area. You've located where it is, then you go back to the statement, read it again, then look at the area again, read it, and make a decision. Underline the words that give you the answer, as this will help you focus, and you can check back later. Again, be careful there are no qualifying words in the text. If you can't find the answer, mark it as not given and move on to the next question. If you're really unsure and can't find the answer, mark it as not given. And that's it. That's a little bit complicated, so let's look at a simplified version. Number 1, find out the location of the correct answer. Number 2, determine if that answer is true, false, or not given. That's basically what they want you to do. Okay, so now let's look at a real question. Let's look at this. Okay, so we're not looking at the text. We're looking at the statements first. Okay, so we're going to read the instructions. Do the following statements agree with the given text? So it's a true, false, not given, yes, no, not given. Write true, write false, write not given. Many of you email me and say, can I write T or F or NG? What does it say? Write true, false, not given. Do what they tell you to do. Okay. So next we have to read each one of these and think about the meaning. You should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated starting time. So basically what that's saying is don't be too early, okay? Don't be there more than 30 minutes before your starting time. Your rider identity card will be sent to you before the event. Okay, so it's some sort of identity card and it will be sent to us before then. Pretty straightforward. Some roads may have normal traffic flow on them. Okay, so traffic is going to be about cars and lorries and all those different things, and it will be normal. Helmets are compulsory for all participants. Compulsory means you do not have a choice, you have to do it, and it's for all participants. So that's a qualifying word in there. All, not some, not a few, all. Refreshments, so that's drinks, are free to all participants during the ride. So free means you don't have to pay for them. All, again, there's a qualifying word in there. If you need a rest, you must get off the road. You have to. There's no other choice. First aid staff can provide cycle capes. Okay, first aid staff, the people looking after injuries and illnesses and things like that, can provide cycle capes. You might not know what a cycle cape is, so hopefully the context of the text will help you understand what those are. Bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. Bike events, both of these is capitalized, so this is probably a company or an organization, because bike events, it's capital, and the first letter is a capital, so it probably means it's a company or some sort of organization or a club or a charity or something like that. Will charge you, there'll be money involved for the return of your bike. Okay, so we've understood what these mean, and that's an investment of time. Don't think that's a waste of time. That's an investment of time. It's a good use of time to understand what these mean. Next, what you would do is you would go through these and think of synonyms. All right, so you would look at each one of these and you would think of synonyms. What I would suggest you do now is, I'm not going to do this for you, stop the video, pause the video, and think about what synonyms of the key words you're going to be looking for. Okay, so pause the video and think of synonyms for this. That will help you identify it. Okay, so number 1, you should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated starting time. So which keywords am I going to use here? Half an hour. That's very specific. It's going to be easy to find in the text. What synonyms? Half an hour, 30 minutes. Okay, or it might be a specific time, but I'd say it's either half an hour or 30 minutes. So let's have a look for that information. And here we go, 30 minutes before that time. Let's read the whole paragraph to make sure that it's the correct part. Your start time is indicated by the color of your body number in this pack. It is also printed on the address label of the envelope. Please arrive no earlier. So talking about arrive. So I'm pretty sure that this is correct. You should not arrive. Okay, so we've got the starting position. This is important because remember the answers are appear in the same order as the text. So this is your starting point. You do not need to read behind this. Okay, it's at the start of the text, but sometimes you might get it and it might be in the middle, or it might be in the start, might be in the second paragraph. This is here. So next what we need to do is we've located it. So now we need to go back and have a look, another read of this. You should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated starting time. Please arrive no earlier than 30 minutes before that time, your start time. So I'm pretty sure this is true, but let's have a look again. You should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated starting time. This is true, okay? It totally agrees with what is in here. Okay, so I'm going to put that, let me write that down. That's true. Okay, good. Number 2, your rider identity card will be sent to you before the event. So this is in capital letters. It's probably going to be exactly what it says, rider identity card. So let's have a look. Let's have a scan. Is there anything about a rider identity card? Okay, so I can't find anything. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 2 on the paper. I'm going to mark it as NG. I think it's NG, but I'm going to show you a little trick. Some traffics may have normal traffic flow in them. Okay. Okay, so this is talking about roads, traffic flow. Okay, so this is the location of the third answer, here. Okay, the location of the first answer was here. So because the answers are in the same order as the text, that means that the second one is somewhere here. So that means we can focus just on this area to confirm that this is not given. If that makes sense? If it doesn't make sense, let me know. So your rider identity card will be sent to you before the event. Let's check this highlighted area. Anything about a rider identity card? Nothing. Okay, so there's no information. So we're confident, not given. So now that's given us the confidence, not given. We can move quickly on to number 3. Okay, number 3. Some roads may have normal traffic flow on them. Let's double check that this is the right place. Although many roads are close to oncoming traffic, this is not always the case, and you should be aware of the possibility that there could be vehicles coming in the opposite direction. Okay, so it doesn't talk about normal traffic flow, but remember, you're not going to get the exact same words all of the time. It's not going to be like, you know, the first one was pretty easy. This one you're going to have to think about. So let's have a look again at this. Some roads may have normal traffic flow on them. So what does that mean? So that means that some roads will just be as normal, all right? They will have normal traffic on them, like a normal day, a normal road. Although many roads are close to oncoming traffic, so that's a little bit of a trick that they put in there. Although many roads are close to oncoming traffic, so you might think close to oncoming traffic, not normal, but it's saying the key word there is although. This is not always the case, as you should be aware of the possibility there could be vehicles coming in the opposite direction. Okay, so what's that's saying is some roads are closed, but some of them are not closed. In other words, they are normal. So what does this say? Some roads may have normal traffic flow on them, so this one is true. Okay, so that is a bit of a confusing one because they've tried to trick you with the although. They're not really it's not really a trick. I don't like that phrase trick, because it sounds like they're doing something evil. What they're doing is testing your ability to understand English, and you need to understand this. All right, imagine you're a doctor, and it says, although the blood test was normal, the patient's pulse showed that he was about to die. It's pretty important that you can understand English in this context. So number 4, helmets are compulsory for all participants. So keyword helmets. Wear a helmet. Probably here. Every year we are delighted to see more riders wearing protective helmets, but we would like to see every cyclist on the road wearing one. More than half of the reported injuries in cycling accidents are not to the head, and a helmet gives the best protection when the head hits the ground. So does this say that helmets are compulsory? No. Can we conclude that helmets are not compulsory? Yes, because it says every year we're delighted to see more riders, but we would like to see every cyclist on the road. We would like to see. So they're not saying it is compulsory. They're saying we would like you to do that. Imagine you're speaking to your child and you say, I'd like you to stop eating so many sweets. Does that mean they must do that? No, you're saying that you would like it to happen. There's a big difference between saying, I would like you to stop eating so many sweets, or saying to your child, it is compulsory, you must, it is a rule, you will never eat sweets again. Let's have a look here. Helmets are compulsory for all participants. It's false. Okay? They would like you to do that, but it's not compulsory, so it's false. Okay, move on to the next one. And you can see the pace that I'm doing at this. I'm moving on. I keep going. Don't ponder. Don't have paralysis by analysis. Refreshments are free to all participants during the ride. So let's refreshments. Okay, so there's keyword there. Look out for these along the route. Most are organized by voluntary clubs, and their prices, so talking about prices, give you real value for money. What does it say? So we've located the correct place. Let's read again. Refreshments are free. Their prices give you real value for money. A price is charging you money. Is it free? No, it's not. Refreshments are free. That is false. Move on to the next one. If you need a rest, you must get off the road. Okay, so let's look for rest stop, or in the event of bad weather. No. Cycle cape. Okay, so another little trick. We're looking for number 6. But immediately after number 5, they talk about cycle capes. So let's go up. Okay, so where was number 5? Number 5 was here. Number 7 was here. So number 6 must be here, in between 5 and 6, because they're in the same order. In the event of very bad weather, watch out for signs to wet weather stations en route. Does that say anything about having a rest? No. If you need a rest, you must get off the road. It's just not there, not given. Move on. First aid staff can provide cycle capes. We've already found that because we've seen that cycle cape. Good waterproofs like a cycle cape are essential. Our first aid staff can only supply bin liners. Bin liners are bin bags, black bin bags. And by the time you get one, you may be very wet. So, do you need to know what bin liners means? Not really. It would be good if you knew what that meant. But good waterproofs like a cycle cape are essential. Our first aid staff can only supply bin liners. Are bin liners cycle capes? No. So if you'll have a look, first aid staff can provide cycle capes. First aid staff can only supply bin liners. If you didn't know what cycle capes meant, and you have no idea what bin liners meant, you could make a good guess there that they're not the same thing. It would be pretty unfair if cycle cape and bin liners were synonyms, and they're not. So, first aid staff can provide cycle capes. Can they? It says no, they can't. They can only provide bin liners. False. Bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. Bike events. Okay, so we find that. Find the location. Let's look again. Bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. Bike events will hold your bike for 3 months, after which it may be disposed of. You will be charged for all costs incurred in returning your cycle. Bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. All costs incurred in returning your cycle. Pretty much exactly the same. Bit of synonym work there, but pretty much exactly the same. True, move on, keep going. Okay, let's see if we are correct. True, not given. True, false, false, not given. False, true. Were we all correct? Yep, we were. Congratulations. You've just got full marks in your true, false, not given, and you can move on. Sound good? All good. So, are they as difficult as you think? Like everything with IELTS, as long as you break it down and you think about it and you invest the time simplifying things and thinking about things, then you are going to do quite well. And you can apply that strategy to anyone. And remember, most of you do not need a band 9. It would be great if you did get a band 9, but if you get one true, false, not given question, do not think that you're going to fail the test. All right? You will get one question that'll be really, really confusing. I've had students in my class who spent a semester, pretty much a semester, debating one practice true, false, not given question. Don't waste your time, all right? Get good at them, get practicing with them. You will get ones that are confusing, move on. You're not aiming for perfection, but if you waste time worrying about one question, you're going to drive yourself crazy. All right. Keep it simple, and thank you very much. And let me know if you need anything. Bye bye.